Welcome everybody to Rainforest Flora. We have some special plants to talk to you about today and we're glad you're here. We're going to talk about Bulbous Tillandsias today. Pseudobulbous is a fancy word for false bulb. And what that means is that a lot of Tillandsias grow and they have a fat base like this. And what it means is that the inside of the plant at the base is hollow. The plants weigh much less than you think they would. The reason is because they are called myrmecophytes. Myrmecophytes is another fancy word, which means that they're hollow inside, and in nature, ant colonies can live inside the plants in a symbiotic relationship. The ants get protection from predators and the elements, and the plants get fertilizer nutrients from the you-know-what of the ants. So it's a working relationship that they have that's evolved over the eons. And so today we're going to talk about these pseudobulbous plants. Okay, here we go. We're going to show some species. This is Tillandsia streptophila. There's some other ones. This is a more rare one. This is called Tillandsia distica minor. And you can see that it's flowering and has a beautiful base. The ciliate trichomes, I don't know if you can see this or not, but a little white fuzz on the purple margins of the leaf sheaths is really nice on Tillandsia distica minor. And then some other species we have are Tillandsia, well this is a hybrid, I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. This is Tillandsia bailey. This is a small one, and this is a large one. The large one is blooming right now. I'm trying to keep all this in the focal plane for the camera. It's a lot to think about. But anyway, so here's a smaller bailey and here's a larger bailey, and it's one of the few Tillandsias that's native to the Americas outside of Florida. This one will occur in nature in Texas, in the south of Texas, down by the Rio Grande. Mostly it's native to northern Mexico. Another one that's native to Mexico is called intermedia. And this is a baby intermedia. It's a seed-grown plant. And in nature, it hangs upside down. And it offsets out of the inflorescence so that over time you start getting a chain going. And and the leaves just curl. This is a terrific plant, Tillandsia intermedia. Another one is Tillandsia pseudobailey. Pseudobailey is named as Bailey, but it's pseudobailey because it really isn't this one. And for years and years this was called bailey, and then they found out, whoops, it's really not. So it was Sue Gardner, I think it was, who changed the name to pseudobailey, false bailey. And this is a neat species. It has a lineation, a maroon colored lineation on the leaf sheaths and on the leaf blades here, and has a lot of color. It also has some wrinkling on the leaf sheaths. It's another way to tell if a plant is a hybrid of this or not, because if it has that wrinkling on it, then it's from pseudobailey. This one is past bloom, and maybe you can see the seed pods on this one. There's little green guys up here at the top. They'll take a year or so to ripen and open, and then you can sow the seeds and grow them for 20 years. Another nice one is called Tillandsia bulbosa. This is a beautiful species that has purple on the leaf sheath margin and beautiful trichomes on the leaf sheaths that give it that white silver color like that. Beautiful bright green leaf blades, and when this one blooms, the entire upper part of the plant turns apple red to attract hummingbirds to pollinate it in nature. And then it gets beautiful purple flowers that are typical of subgenus Tillandsia.
And Paul, there's several forms of bulbosa, correct?
Yes, there are. That's a good question, Barry. This form is called gigante because it gets really large. This plant can get to be 2 feet, can get to be 60 centimeters over the years, and then when it turns red, it's so spectacular. It's so beautiful.
And there's an intermediate size and a little tiny one too, right? From Mexico?
Yeah, we have these from about 2 inches all the way up to right now about a foot.
But I'm saying there's also other bulbosa species.
Then there are other bulbosa types. The standard type gets to be about maybe 5 inches or so when it gets mature. There's a bulbosa called Hiro, after Hiro in Japan.
Yeah.
I forgot Hiro's last name. Sorry,
okay.
Hiro. But It's an albino form of bulbosa, so that instead of turning red, it turns a bright yellow.
Wow.
And the flowers, instead of being purple, are white. It's a really nice plant, and we actually do have some of those.
And Paul, you've used bulbosa in several of your crosses, of your hybrids.
Yes, we have.
We'll see those in a minute.
I'll show you that in just a second.
Okay.
I wanted to show everybody a flower of subgenus Tillandsia. This is typical. If you see a Tillandsia that has a flower that looks like this, the color purple can be a light green. It can even be a reddish color, but generally it's this purple color. That's in subgenus Tillandsia of the Tillandsia. Subgenus Tillandsia of the Tillandsia genus. So another species before we start getting to these other ones is the Kaput Medusa.
So should I go get you one?
Yeah, I brought one up here. Now I don't know where I put it. So, anyway, it's a really nice plant, and it looks like the head of Medusa, especially when they dry out or if they're grown from seeds instead of from offsets. The leaves curl a lot on the Medusa, and that's a bummer. I brought one up. Sorry about that. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is to segue you over into talking about the Tillandsia hybrids, because of course they exhibit a lot of hybrid vigor. They get much larger than either parent. They show the characteristics. Some lean towards the shape of one parent, some lean more towards the shape of the other parent. And it's really fun to see a group of them come up from seeds and see what they look like and which one they go more. Here's another terrific hybrid, folks. This one is the pseudobulbous species called bulbosiana. This is a clump that's coming into bloom. You can see the ancestral remains of the mother plant. It had 3 offsets, and 2 of the offsets are coming into bloom now. So if you take this great species, bulbosiana, and you cross it with a standard xerographica, another beautiful species, you get something called greater glory. And greater glory is
wow,
right here.
That's too big to fit in frame.
Yeah, let me,
it's okay.
We'll start at the bottom.
There you go. Look at that.
Look at the curl of the leaves there. How great that is.
Amazing.
So here you go. Coming down, coming down, coming down through the inflorescence.
It's about 30 inches, huh?
It's about a meter tall.
Meter tall.
So wanted to show you that one real quick, folks. And the other one is guaranteed when you go to pick something up, it's going to grab everything else. I mean, if you tried to do it, you'd never get it. But if you don't try to do it, it comes up right away.
Like magnets.
So here's intermedia, a small intermedia with pseudobailey. And you take that and you cross it and you get instant gratification.
Wow.
And this is a past bloom plant with some seed pods on it, but another really nice shape for a Tillandsia hybrid.
And again, this shows us this thing of hybrid vigor, where the offspring is much larger.
It's much larger than either parent. This is about average for a pseudobailey, maybe a little smaller. The intermediate would be 3 or 4 times this big.
That's right.
But the instant gratification is pretty amazing.
Beautiful.
Hey, hi folks, I found the Bootsii and the Kaput Medusa. So here's Bulbosa gigante. This is Tillandsia Bootsii, and it's got this brown color on the leaf sheath and going up the leaf blades, and it's spotted with the green of the chlorophyll on the leaves itself, and it has a very whimsical shape, very long, thin leaf blades. And then this is a little Kaput Medusa.
Wow.
It has a little bit of purple on the margin of the sheath, has a lot of silver trichomes on it, and these 3 are all very popular species. And then here was the intermedia that hangs upside down in nature, and then we had I'll pick the small Bailey this time. So these are all smaller plants that can get larger. These aren't real big ones. But when you use these, when they're larger, and you cross them to create hybrids, you get some spectacular plants. And I'm going to show you some of those now. So for instance, if you take Tillandsia bulbosa gigante and you cross it with Tillandsia Bootsii, you get Tillandsia casey. And this is still a small one too. This one gets very large. But it has the purple leaf sheath of the bulbosa. It has a lot of the, well, not so much of the spotting, but some spotting of the Bootsii. But this grows to be a large, beautiful plant. If you take the bulbosa and you cross it with Streptophila, then you get Showtime. And this is more large. You can see this is Tillandsia, gets quite large, Tillandsia Showtime, which is again a hybrid of Streptophila and bulbosa.
And Paul, you made this hybrid like 20, 30 years ago?
Well, yeah, probably 30 years ago, and actually it was my friend Mark Dimmitt that made the original cross.
Mark.
And we've made it also since then. It's a gorgeous plant. And again, when it blooms, instead of getting apple red, because Streptophila is more of a pink color, you end up with more of a bright rose color that's really nice.
It's fantastically beautiful.
And then you have another hybrid that is a, this is called Tillandsia,
Thai.
well, I've got one that's called the Perfect Blend. Let's see, which one? This is the Perfect Blend. They're a little similar but different. This is Thai, and this is the Perfect Blend. The Perfect Blend is a hybrid of a hybrid, Tillandsia lucile, which is bulbosa by a species called Alerciana. And then that species, or that hybrid lucile, is back crossed to bulbosa. And then that's the Perfect Blend, and that's this one. And this is still a baby. It's going to get very large and be utterly spectacular. And then you have Tillandsia Thai, which is a hybrid of Tillandsia bulbosa and Tillandsia Alerciana. So that's...
it's TY, right?
Yeah, TY.
Okay.
TY is my nickname. And then you have one called Blushing Giant. And Blushing Giant is a hybrid of Celeriana and Streptophila. And I brought a Celeriana up here.
Yep, got one there.
So here's Celeriana. So if you take Celeriana Streptophila, then you get Blushing Giant.
Amazing.
Yeah, great plants. And then there's another one, a species that I showed before called Pseudo-Bailey. And Pseudo-Bailey crossed as the pollen parent with bulbosa. Thank you. Just gives you this plant, which is called Wavy Wonder. It's wavy on the leaves. You know.
Instead of wavy gravy.
You try and think of a name sometime. But I know this one actually has a little seedling. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right where my little finger is, there's a seedling growing on there, a volunteer. But yeah, Wavy Wonder is a hybrid of Pseudo-Bailey and bulbosa.
Fantastic.
And of course, you can have hybrids that are of pseudobulbous plants and non-pseudobulbous plants, so that you can take a species like Streptophila and cross it with a non-pseudobulbous species like Concolor. So I don't have one right here, but then you get,
wow,
this is Tillandsia Reddy.
Wow.
And this is gorgeous, gorgeous, spectacular plant. So that is, oh, one more as a treat. Wanted to show you, this is Tillandsia Arauge minima. And Tillandsia Arauge minima is very thin, as you can see. And you can see the history of this plant over many, many years, growing along like this. And it comes in, and now it's just starting to flower.
Wow.
Bright pink with white flowers.
It looks like a little snake.
Yeah, or even a medium-sized snake.
Medium snake. Cute.
Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. And that's today's, whatever you want to call it.
Installment.
Lecture, installment, presentation.
Edition. Series.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Paul.
Bye-bye.